Hey everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at an expansion to a game that I enjoyed, turns out Joey enjoys as well.
I do.
Kabuto Sumo.
Yep.
Today we're taking a look at the expansion called...
Total Mayhem.
Not Partial Mayhem.
Nope.
No. Don't need partial mayhem in my life.
Who needs that?
I need complete and total mayhem.
Complete and total mayhem.
So,
that's what this is.
We've done a review of Kabuto Sumo separately. I'm going to
Yep.
put a link in the video description so you can go, if you're not familiar with the base game. Today I'm just going to show you what comes in the box here. So if you want to see Total Mayhem, here we go.
Mayhem!
Also, if you want to see what comes in the box, now here we go.
Here we go.
Here's everything that comes inside the box of Kabuto Sumo Total Mayhem. You might recognize here some accoutrements of typical professional wrestling, including a coffin, the cardboard construct I put together. I did it by myself. I'm going to show you what all the cards do, because that's pretty much what comes in the expansion. I'm assuming that you know how to play Kabuto Sumo already, so let's just dive in. The first module you can play with is the table. On this side here, it allows you to play at a little table, which you'll notice is a replica, kind of the exact table I happen to be recording at right now. And all this says here is, as you push pieces in the game, if someone pushes in such a way that the table collapses, that player wins the game. They slammed them through the table. On the other side here, there's just a little way to get extra pieces that stack on here, and if you have fewer than what's on here, you get to actually collect them. With this module here, with the chairs, appropriately named Concerto, on this side, every player starts with a chair, and if you end the round in a way where your chair, a chair, is touching an opponent's wrestler, you get to also play an additional small green piece, hitting them with a chair. On this side, you can pay green pieces to get a chair into your inventory. The briars here are teeny little pieces that get dropped. They're scattered onto the wrestling ring at the start of the match. As you knock them over, you collect them, and if you ever collect 4 of them, you're automatically eliminated. On the other side over here, as you knock them, you collect them, but you can spend them to get other pieces. The Coffin Module here will allow you to use the extra pieces that are unused for the wrestlers you're playing with, and each turn stack them into the coffin. And if your wrestler is ever the one dangling off the edge at the end of your turn, or at the end of a turn, you get to grab all the pieces that are in the coffin. On the other side here, as you push pieces, you can place the coffin around the edge of the ring, and if you knock pieces into it, you get bonus pieces. The torches here, or rather matchsticks because you're small bugs, are pieces that you push in, and if you ever get your torch to touch the very center of the ring, that's another win condition. Or you can play with just one torch here, and if you stack it onto your piece, it allows you to get extra pieces. Money in the bank. The briefcase here is put onto the center tile, and if that piece is ever knocked out, whoever knocked it off automatically wins. They got the bag. Or if you play on this side, you can, if you knock off 2 pieces, put this onto your wrestler, and it can pass around that way, and every other player on their turn while you have it then has to stack extra pieces, get rid of extra pieces from their inventory. The guitar and the ladder both have ways you can get them and push those pieces in, but even more fun are these win conditions that use these tracks here. With the guitar, you are forced to play the guitar if you have it, and whoever knocks out the guitar gets to place their beetle piece over here onto the guitar track, and then if they are able to knock off the guitar a second time after it's been played back in, they win the match. And a similar thing happens over here with the ladder. If you are able to be climbing up the ladder, this piece, the ladder piece, gets stacked onto a disc on the wrestling ring, and at the start of every one of your turns, you climb up unless someone is able to push the ladder out of the ring and knock it over, in which case, bloop, you've toppled back down. And that's the modules that come inside of Kabuto Sumo Total Mayhem. And because I'm sure people will ask, if you take out the insert, all of the things in here, even constructed, will fit back into the base game just fine. So first off, let's start with the overall presentation of this. All play tends to make games that look very good.
Right.
Quanche Moria's art, since the basic and everything. What do you think about the new stuff in this box?
I really like the new stuff. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the fact that you have a coffin.
Let's talk about the fact that you have a coffin.
You have and a chair? I mean, really, if you watch any WWE, you know they use chairs and coffins. Actually, Undertaker, that's about it. But, whatever. Chairs or coffins.
Well, a table. Table is like the classic thing, too. And
the table.
And the fact they all have a mechanical use, but also wild toy factor. I mean, I played this with my daughter, and then after we finished a few matches, because spoilers, we played this like a few times back to back to back.
Right.
And afterwards, I left to go grab something from the kitchen. I come back, and she set up a scene. Like, she literally set up like a whole thing with like, and here's the chairs, and here's the table. And she set up a coffin. She's literally set up a funeral for the Yellow Beetle player.
Makes sense. Never liked him, that Yellow Beetle player. But it's one of those that when you're explaining, because Chris learned this first, right? And then you taught me. And it's one of those that you just laugh at how clever and funny and thematic the game is when you're explaining the different things. Whether it's a table and the little briars. I love the briars that sit here. I mean, everything in this just, it's clever.
It's clever. It's thematic. Like you said, I watched wrestling a lot when I was a kid.
Yep.
And I went through a period where I didn't really like wrestling. And then now, it's funny, I kind of look back at wrestling and I think, when you appreciate it for the theatrics, the entertainment, the production value, and all the good memories I had, I have a lot of fondness for wrestling in that sense. And so seeing some of these things, like, I don't know why, just literally, like, breaking the table, the idea of smashing the opponent through the table as a win condition, that's great. And it makes me kind of appreciate those little things. Like, people call wrestling fake.
Right.
But it's really...
It's real.
It's
so real.
It's athletic performance, and that's what this kind of makes me appreciate a little bit.
And they're real athletes. Now, about Kabuto Sumo, this is a game that I really like. Played it first at Gen Con. But then the more I played it, certain games will go up or down. This one went down because it suffered from sometimes it was too long. And did you have that experience too?
I agree, yeah. You could see two players just kind of pushing back and forth, and you're like, do something interesting, guys. Like, don't...
Right.
Oh, I'm close to the edge. I push back in. Well, now I'm close to the edge. I'll push back in.
If you play too much defense, it'll last way too long. And then there have been times where we're just like, look, push me off the side because I'm ready to play something different. And you don't want to feel that way. And I didn't know how they could fix it.
And as soon as I looked through this, and you can't tell from the rule page. The rule page just says play with the special ability cards.
Right.
And you start reading these, you're like, that's a win condition. That's a win condition. That's a win condition. I love alternate win conditions, different ways to kind of end the game quicker. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm in.
So did I. Because like multiple paths to victory and a path to defeat. I mean, it's really good. You have to focus on whichever, you got to focus on what you want to do, but then also find out what they're trying to do. It adds and without overcomplicating the game. That's the big thing.
And I'll tell you one thing. The original Kabuto Sumo, I kind of preferred just playing with the basic regular wrestlers. I tried playing with all the player powers, and some of them were pretty fun, but then also some of them require like a lot of explanation and a lot of like specificity. Like, this is what stacking means, this is why you might do it and stuff. But no, you know what? I'm just going to play with matches and no player powers, and I'm just going to explain, if you get your match color piece to the middle of the ring, you win. People go, I know how that works. You know what I mean? It takes less teaching to actually have an alternate win condition in there.
I'm just going to play with matches. That's the quote by Chris Yee. That's going to go inside of the box. I'm just going to play with matches. Get these for your kids. So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I admit, when I have taught a bad lesson, kids drop out of school.
Play with matches, apparently. So yeah, I really like, and this is making it, this honestly, it saved the game from, now it was off of my shelf and it was about to go. Because it's just not hitting the table. Ever since you have those long plays, you're like, I can't do it.
Interesting, yeah. No, I like that. And I'm going to pull this one out more, I think.
A lot more.
Which to me speaks to the strength of an expansion. When an expansion comes out and you say, this is going to make me want to play it more. This makes me more likely to teach it, more want to actually kind of have uproarious moments, you know.
Right.
We played one time where I pushed 3 of those briars off. If I got a 4th briar, I instantly lose. And your piece is surrounded by briars. I'm sitting there going, okay, how do I do this? It makes me play differently. It makes me appreciate and have different funny moments. I totally crushed it that game, by the way.
Yeah, won by a little bit.
But yeah, no, so score-wise, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts on this one. This is, again, one that it does what expansions should do. It does not overcomplicate the game. It's more of what you like. There have been many expansions for this that are just different monsters, things like that, different pieces that didn't really help the game, in my opinion. This one saved it. So I am going, and this is going to make this game stay in my collection and hit the table a lot more. So I'm actually coming a bit high on this. I am going to give this a 9 because I think I will never play this game without this expansion. I just won't, because this should be in the base box, because this makes it so much more enjoyable. There's so much more going on. It makes it a complete game. So this has saved this, and yeah, so I give it a 9.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's an incomplete game, right? Because I think what was produced at first,
right.
I think that was great. But I also agree with you that this is a 9 because as an expansion, there's no downsides to this.
No, none.
There's only upsides. Fantastic pieces, toyetic. Just a lot of fun matches to play with.
And you can go crazy and add several win conditions if you want to and just see what happens.
Right.
You can do a Royal Rumble, as the kids say.
That is what the kids say. A small note that on the back of these cards, so on one side is basically a win condition. On the back are just like special powers.
Right.
Ways to get more discs. I'm just personally going to always play with the front sides that are the win conditions because that's probably my biggest complaint with the original is that people can play kind of defensively and drag out the game, and that's not what this game should be about. So when you say you can win by climbing up the ladder, people go, well, I'm going to climb up the ladder now. So 9 out of 10. Fantastic expansion.
I agree. It's what was needed.
All right, so there you go. That's our thoughts on Kabuto Sumo Total Mayhem.
Total.
Thanks for coming out to another Dice Tower review. My name is Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
And I'm going to put Joey into a submission headlock right now.
And I'm going to play with matches.
Face looks really dark.
Let there be light. What's that shining?
It's kind of flickering.
Yeah. Oh, wait. There you go, stabilize. Oh, there it is. Yep.
It's good now. Okay.
I fixed it.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kind of handsy. That's not handsy.
Nope. Good night, everybody.
Not handsy. What is it? Good of their hands?
Handy.
Handy.